The Manilow Method podcast is a production by Logan Allen and me, Barry Harris. And now, let's start the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to yet another special bonus episode of the Manilow Method, the complete guide to the music of Barry Manilow. As you probably know, I'm Logan Allen, this is my co-host Barry Harris, and we do these episodes as a way of making sure we talk about as much as we possibly can without making the album discussions 24 hours long. So today we are going to be discussing a doozy of a topic, 1997 and 1998 Reminiscing Tour. It was in support of the Summer of 78 record, but a lot of fanalos such as Barry and myself know of it as the Clicker Tour. Barry, please tell everybody why it's known as the Clicker Tour.
Yes, so the idea of this tour, at the heart of it, is that Manilow wanted to do a tour that was more intimate and allowed him to be more accessible to the audience. So he thought of a way to try to bring in civilian interaction into the show. Obviously, Can't Smile Without You is the most notable example of how he's done that in his shows. But this really takes it to a whole new level where he developed a wheel. He actually developed two digital wheels. The first wheel had all of his albums that he ever released, and he invited audience members to stop the wheel. He would spin the wheel, and then they would click a button, and they would stop the wheel, and whatever album the wheel stopped on became the songs he would do next in the show. He would talk about the album. He would reminisce, hence the name of the tour. He'd reminisce about the album. Yeah, and then he would sing a couple songs. The second wheel had all of the songs from the Summer of 78 album, so he would do one of the songs from Summer of 78 when the wheel landed on one of those songs. And so this was really a remarkable tour. And I know that Manilow himself has mentioned this as being like one of his favorite tours ever. And I agree, it was really special because this was an opportunity to hear some really obscure songs that had never been done before or hardly had ever been done. So like, for example, if Here Comes the Night, I Want to Do It With You would come up on the wheel, he would do I'm Going to Sit Right Down and Write Myself a Letter. That's quite a doozy of a rarity, something that hasn't been done. I know when he had the One Voice album come up, he's done Sunday Father. I don't think that's hardly ever been done. So there was these unique moments, and every show that I've seen has been nothing but exciting and thrilling. Now, I've had the immense privilege of having attended 2 Clicker Tour concerts in my lifetime. I'm very lucky, and in fact, one of the great things that Logan and I have enjoyed is Manilow TV. So Logan, why don't you tell them about Manilow TV if they don't know what that is?
So Manilow TV, we've mentioned it on a few of our other episodes in different shapes and forms, but it's basically an online site that you subscribe, I believe it's $10 a month, where you get, I believe it's 19 Manilow concerts a month. It's one new show every month and then 18 other shows that they cycle through the rotation. They've had over 180 different episodes air over the course of its existence. And Barry and I are both subscribed. We watch all the shows. We have a document that's got all the shows on it and the songs, and we've got statistics. We nerd out over this stuff. So Manilow TV is basically for the fans who want to see not only how the show changed, but how the set list changed and how he threw different songs in certain times. And for example, one that aired in 2025 here had a song that was only performed twice. And without Manilow TV, you would never see that sort of stuff. So with this right now, I want to focus on the Clicker Tour, because I have to say, every time they post a show from the Clicker Tour, and he always says, we didn't do this concept for very long, we've seen a lot of the Clicker shows on Manilow TV. So I want to talk about the times that the songs from the Summer of 78 have come up on Manilow TV. tied at number 1 for the most showings on Manilow TV are Reminiscing and I'd Really Love to See You Tonight. Those have both been shown 11 times on Manilow TV. I Go Crazy has only been shown twice. Bluer Than Blue has been shown 4 times. We've Got Tonight, shockingly, has only been shown once, and it wasn't even on the Clicker Tour. It was when they were trying it out in the live show the year before. That has been shown once. Sometimes When We Touch has been shown 3 times. Never My Love by itself has been played 1 time, and Just Remember I Love You has been played 1 time as well. Now, getting away from Manilow TV, I know that When I Need You was performed at least once on the tour, but it's not been shown on Manilow TV. Songs that I haven't seen on Manilow TV and I haven't seen a record of being performed are the title track, Summer of 78, obviously Love's Theme, I don't think he's going to play that live, and The Air That I Breathe. I have not seen any record. Barry, have you seen any record of those songs being played?
Yeah, not to my knowledge, and that's kind of why we always mention our email address, themanilowmethod@gmail.com. We always mention that because we would like you to fill in the gaps for us. If there's things that you know that we don't know, we would like to know what you think and what you remember. So if you happen to have been there or you know of somebody who was there when that happened, definitely tell us about it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned before there's a couple rarities that got played on this tour that I don't think have been played since. A couple big examples of that. April 10th, 1997 in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. He played, the Barry Manilow 2 album came up, the blue album with his silhouette on it. That album came up on the clicker, and he played the cut, Something's Coming Up. And I am not sure. I know he played it on the Nashville Country Special in 2000, but after that's the only time I can think of after the Clicker Tour where he may have played it. So that is a very big rarity. And then the biggest rarity, I think.
This is crazy. I read about it and it gave me chills.
This could potentially be the only time this song has ever been played live, from the Even Now album. I hope we're talking about the same thing, Barry.
Yeah.
From the Even Now album, on November 30th, 1997, he did the clicker show, and the person he gave the clicker, he asked what they wanted to hear if it landed on the wheel. And this person said they would love to hear a Linda song from the Even Now album. We have an Even Now episode out. Go watch that. Hear us talk about that song. This person wanted to hear a Linda song, and Barry Manilow was so moved by this request, he said, well, I don't think the band doesn't know it, but when we hit the intermission, I'll go see if I can relearn it. And sure enough, the intermission hits, he comes back out for Act 2, and he plays as much as he remembers.
That's amazing.
It technically wasn't a clicker song, but it was still played on the Clicker Tour, and to my knowledge, that is the only time any piece of a Linda song has ever been played live. What about you, Barry? Have you heard of it?
No, yeah, I think that's probably the only time that I know about that at least anybody knows about, and that's why, we kind of put our thoughts out into the open on this program, and we do that because we want to get a conversation started, and if we have misassumed anything, we want to have people set us straight, because we know that they will, and we would like you to do so if you do know, if you can set the record straight for us.
Absolutely. A Linda song is one of the most rare songs, and this is the only time that I certainly can think of that it was ever played. Speaking of the only time it's ever been played, it's not necessarily related to the Clicker Tour, but it's the same year. There is another song that was played in 1997 that we have evidence for. As of recently, Barry found some evidence of another song that might have only been played once ever. Barry, take us on this ride.
Yes, so on February 12, 1997, a New York City radio station held a contest for their listeners to try to get people to participate and win a prize. And the prize was a ticket to a private solo Barry Manilow concert for the occasion of Valentine's Day. And I would have given anything to have been one of those 150 people in that room, because that may have been one of the most intimate concerts he's ever performed.
And I wasn't alive, so I wish.
Right. Yeah, so I went and I was reading up an old Barry Graham edition, and
which is what is a Barry Graham for the people that don't necessarily know?
Oh yeah, we got to explain what a Barry Graham is. So Barry Graham was the quarterly magazine that was published by the Barry Manilow International Fan Club from 1978 through the 2010s, and of course now everything is digital, and they recently revived the Barry Graham as a monthly subscription email that anybody can subscribe to for free at Manilow's website. If you're on their mailing list, you'll get the Barry Graham every month. But that's a throwback to the original magazine. And these magazines were incredible because they had question and answers with Barry. The people would write in, and he had a column where he would answer fan questions, and some of the information that he shared in these columns is just so illuminating. But back to what we were talking about, February 12th, 1997, I was reading this report, and it talked about some of the songs that he performed. And it was listing the songs, and it listed a song that shocked me. It said,
shocked me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Barry Graham reported that during this solo private concert, he performed the song "Getting Over Losing You" from the Here Comes the Night album. My mind was blown to find that out, because I had never imagined that he would ever do that song live, because that song, if you don't know that song, it is one of the highest vocal ranges, highest belt ranges that Manilow has ever put to tape. So it makes me wonder, like, okay, so how did he do it? What key did he do it in? I would want to really know what that was like. So that was common during this era. He was whipping out songs that he had not done ever, and I don't know how that came about, but man, it happened though.
Which, it begs the question, since the Clicker Tour was coming up just a couple months after this show, and Here Comes the Night, as we've seen on Manilow TV, is one of the albums that would appear on the wheel a lot. You said he did "I'm Gonna Sit Right Down and Write Myself a Letter." That's the big rarity that he would do from that album. Maybe just a couple months before, he was considering "Getting Over Losing You" being a part of that clicker, but then he might have done it, or he didn't think it would work, pacing, whatever. Maybe that song was in the consideration. I would love to see the set list from that show in February of 97, because if he did that, anything is fair game. Who knows what he did?
So I think this is the perfect occasion, Logan, for us to put this out into the universe. We would love to see that solo show on Manilow TV. Even if they don't have the video, if it has to be audio only, that's fine. But I would love to hear that concert.
Oh my gosh, that would be, to hear "Getting Over Losing You" live would just be absolutely incredible. And like, Here Comes the Night is a great album in itself. A lot of high vocals, so obviously maybe he had to drop the key just a tiny bit, but still, if that's the only time that song ever got played, that's the perfect reason to put that show on Manilow TV. So the powers that be, if this gets put in front of them, please give us that concert, please. So I think that just about wraps it up for our Clicker Tour discussions. Thank you all so much for tuning in to get us the Manilow Method. It's the complete guide to the music and legacy of Barry Manilow. I'm Logan Allen. That's Barry Harris. Please find us on social media at The Manilow Method. Reach out to us, themanilowmethod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your stories. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you with a new episode very, very soon. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, we hope you enjoyed this special little bonus episode of The Manilow Method. Real quick before we go, I just want to make a quick plug for the Manilow Music Project. That is Dr. Manilow's nonprofit organization that donates funds, equipment, and instruments to school music programs that can't necessarily afford them. It's a great project with a spectacular mission. We hope you will check it out along with us. You can find them at Manilow Music Project on social media and at manilowmusicproject.org. You can donate there and learn all of the information about their great purpose. Briefly, our theme music at the beginning of every episode that we do is based on Frédéric Chopin's Prelude in C minor. It's performed by my co-host, Barry Harris, And for those of you Fanilows out there, you know that is what Dr. Manilow's song Could It Be Magic is based off of. Real quickly, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Manilow, his band, his crew, and everyone that has helped him throughout his career, because my co-host Barry Harris and I would not be here without all of them. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content we have coming at you really soon. We really appreciate your support, and we'll see you soon on the Manilow Method.